What's up, everyone? Welcome to another podcast episode. This is one of the super special episode for me. The reason it's special is because the guest is special. Her name is Pooja. Pooja and I actually did engineering together from India, from Mumbai, from DJ Sangvi. If you're from DJ Sangvi, please let us know in the comment section. Pooja then came to United States, did her masters, and now she's working for one of the top companies in Silicon Valley. You will hear all about it in the podcast episode. The reason why this episode becomes special is Pooja has hearing impairment. She has 90% of hearing loss, which means she cannot hear at all without hearing aids. And when she can only hear sounds. The way she communicates is through looking at our lips. She's reading our lips to understand what we are trying to say. And because you cannot hear, you cannot speak properly, but she learned how to talk through vibrations. I'll let her explain all of this fun thing in the podcast episode. The reason Pooja and I decided to do this video was to inspire you and to encourage you for life, that do not give up on your life, do not give up on your dreams. Pooja has a limitation of hearing and speaking, but in spite of those limitations, she never gave up on her life. She kept pursuing her dream and now she is living the dream. I hope at the end of this video, you feel inspired, motivated, positive, that no matter what our excuse or reason is, you do not give up on your goals, do not give up on your dreams. Have faith, work hard, and you can get whatever you want in life. Pooja, if you're watching this, thank you so much for doing this. Really means a lot. And now I will let you all enjoy the podcast episode. Thank you, Pooja, for doing this. Really means a lot to me and my YouTube community. I know that there's gonna be hundreds and thousands and millions of people are gonna be watching this and going to be inspired from this. At least I am inspired from your journey, and I hope that happens with everybody else as well. So thank you for doing this and giving your time for this.
You're welcome. I'm so excited to inspire people and be a part of your YouTube community.
Thank you. You're so kind and so humble. But before we get to any part of this, let's do a quick intro. Where are you from? What do you do here? Where are you right now in United States? And fun stuff about you.
Okay, so I am Pooja and I am from Mumbai and I met Yudi from NTJ country. We are from the same undergrad college. Right now I'm working as a software engineer in Intuit in Bay Area.
Yeah, and you came to United States for masters in RIT, right?
Yes.
Awesome. We'll get to that part. But before we do get to your master's journey, I want to talk about your hearing. What exactly it is, if you can explain your audience how long you had it and what is it?
Okay, so basically I'm hearing impaired and I am deaf from 30 years, but I have 90% of hearing loss, so I cannot hear without hearing aids. And so this is what my hearing problem is, and this was discovered when I was 1 year 9 months. So we don't know the reason when this happened, whether it was from birth or got through some injury when I was very young.
Yeah, and when you say 90%, so obviously the way you can hear me right now is because you're reading my lips. You're seeing my lips and interpreting what I'm trying to say. But if you're not looking at me, you will not be able to hear me, right?
Yeah. But I can hear the sound.
Yeah, you can just hear that someone is saying something and there's a sound, but not really understand what I'm saying. I know you mentioned that it's been since a year and a half, pretty much since your childhood. How has it been for you when you came here, or even in India? Like, has it been challenging for you, or you were embracing this?
Yeah, so it was of course challenging for me because I could not hear anything. So if you can't hear, you cannot talk. So the way my mom taught me how to speak is through the vibrations, where she would grab her hand over her face and then she would make me feel the vibrations, like it is your nose vibrates, it is a curl, your throat vibrates.
Wow.
So with the help of these vibrations, I started talking.
Okay.
So this time, and it was challenging to cope up with normal people around me even in school. So my mom always had to set up a meeting with teachers just to make sure that when they teach, they had to face me so that I can read and understand what teachers are speaking. Whereas in United States, accent is a bit different from India.
Yeah.
So initially, it was very difficult for me to read people here. However, I could cope up with it by doing some speech therapy in my college. So RIT is actually very famous for hearing impaired people. We had a special department where they provide facilities for hearing impaired people. And did my speech therapy there. This helped me learn the American accent and made it easy for me to talk. Also, in universities, professors were always supporting.
Yeah.
Because they know that there are a lot of hearing impaired students. So they never hesitate to help us whenever we need it.
Yeah.
So this is how I could progress.
Right.
And initially, of course, it was challenging, but eventually it became fun.
Yeah, I love your attitude towards life in general. I know me, I mean, I can speak and I can hear properly, and I don't even think about it, but I take things like a lot of people take things for granted, and it's just inspiring to see like if you where you can only hear 90% and like speaking is difficult and still able to do so much in life, it's just so inspiring. I'm gonna keep saying this in the video just because I am, but anyway, let's talk about obviously we did engineering together in India. We did it in DJ Sangvi. What you worked for a year in TCS, right?
Right.
Right. And then when did you decide that you want to do masters?
Okay, so when I was in TCS, I thought that I was not gaining enough knowledge, which made me think that I should gain more expertise and grow more in career. This made me deciding that I want to do my master's.
Were you afraid by any chance that, see, in India, you have your parents, you have your friends and family, so everybody is there with you. But in the United States, it's a brand new, like a whole new country. How, like, were you afraid to take that decision that how am I gonna do it?
Initially, I was afraid just only by the accent. Otherwise, I was not afraid of coming to an unknown country because I know and I had that confidence that I can do it.
Yeah.
Which made me take a bold decision to come to United States.
Were you afraid that what if you are not able to get job or not able to do the course properly? Is there any fear like that, or you're like?
I did not have such fear. I always had a confidence.
I love it because I ask you this question because my audience who is also like us, who wants to come to United States, and they ask me this question like, I'm taking this huge loan, what if I don't get jobs, or what if I am not successful? And I love your attitude that you're confident that I'm gonna make it work. Like, I'm gonna work hard and I'm gonna make it work. So I love that attitude. So anyway, what was your GRE score? Did you give GRE?
Yes, I gave GRE. It was 305 out of 300.
Yeah, 305. Okay. And then did you give TOEFL, IELTS?
Yes,
okay.
But I was exempt from listening and speaking section, so my score was out of 60 instead of 120. So I got 53 out of 60.
Okay. Awesome. So, and then obviously you applied to universities and you chose RIT. And did you have any other admit?
Yes, I had an admit from ASU. Yes. But I chose RIT over ASU because of the accommodation provided or hearing impaired people to make their education life easy.
Oh, so everything was provided for you by IRIT.
Yes,
Was that included in your fees or do you have to pay extra?
it's not included.
Okay, that's awesome. So you came in 2015.
Correct.
You started your masters. How was education for you in United States? Was it different than India or was it same? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was of course different. In India, it was more of a theoretical perspective. So we did not have a lot of practical knowledge. Whereas in the United States, we had a lot of practical knowledge and we had to do a lot of things on our own. Nobody was there to guide us a lot to do what is right or what is wrong. It was a part of learning process. That is not a point different from India.
Right. Yeah. And when you are like sitting in the class, is that like you try to sit in the front so that you can lip read, or do you get somebody who can help you understand what the professor is saying?
So in RIT, we have one facility called Caption, where a captioner will come to the class, listen to the professor, and she will type in the things. And I will just read on my laptop what is the professor saying, because captioner was typing whatever professor was saying.
Wow. Okay. So you have to obviously rely on the person who's taking the notes. But were you still in the class? Yeah.
Yes, I was.
And were you able to understand at all, or were you just paying attention on the notes?
I was able to understand, but sometimes professors would look on the board, so I
Right.
would not be able to read it. So I would miss a lot of parts. This is the reason captioners were helpful.
Yeah, that's so cool. I think I'm very in the awe. I don't know how to express this because I mean, you come here and like you professors are typing or they're looking at the board and you can't see them, and you have to rely and read what the person is typing and understand this is what professor is saying, and you learn through that, and that's so cool. So I know that you had internship at PayPal. How did you get that internship? Like, what was your strategy to find a job?
So what I did during my first years of my master's, I just started my job search. The way I try to look for a job is I apply through major companies' websites like Apple, Facebook, Google. Then we also have some other job portals like Glassdoor, Intuit. That is how I applied for jobs. And then I got lot of interviews where I gave interviews, and the thing when I gave interviews is I requested a recruiter to give me an accommodation for video call rather than the telephonic call, so I can repeat myself. Recruiters were always supportive. That is the best thing about the United States.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it's so cool. And all of the interviews or anything you got was through online application.
Correct.
Everything. Okay, cool. And then, so let's walk me through a process. So you, let's say PayPal, for example, you applied, a recruiter liked your resume, they reach out to you saying that, hey, we want to interview you. When do you tell them that you have a hearing impairment?
Yes, I tell them that I have hearing impairment when they reach out to me.
Is that
by email?
So is that on the call or is that on the email?
Email.
Email. Okay.
Because I can't pick up the phone call.
Right. And then you will always obviously ask them to schedule it a video call so they can, you can read.
Correct.
Right. And how has that been? Because when you are in front of person, I feel it might be easier to read the lips and understand the expressions. How was it to do it everything on through video call?
It was exactly same because it was just one person speaking. So it was exactly same experience. But if there are like multiple people, then it will be a bit difficult because screen will be smaller, so it will be difficult to record. But if only one person is there, it covers the whole screen, which makes it easier to talk.
Nice. And then how was the PayPal interview? Like, what's the process for them?
Internship, I had like 2 rounds of interviews. First round was a telephonic interview with the manager, and this was like talk about my resume. Then if they like my resume and my work profile, they would call me for a second round, which was more of a technical coding challenge. So they had given me a simple code question where I had to make sure that all the test cases passes
And was the hiring manager surprised or shocked or anything when they found out that you have hearing impairment, or they did not treat you any differently?
they did not react differently. They were always supportive whenever I asked them to repeat or if I asked them to
Speak slowly.
repeat or speak slow, no problem at all.
Okay. And obviously, you got it in PayPal and you worked there for how long did you work there?
I worked there for almost 1.5 years.
1.5 year. Did you do co-op there then?
No.
No, just
Until internship, and then I got a full-time job.
oh right.
So it was like approx 1.5 years.
Got it. Okay. How was the working culture for you? Like, was it challenging at all in the beginning, or was it normal just working?
It was normal working because people were friendly and I did not have any issues in communications or anything.
Obviously, you switched from PayPal to Intuit. We'll talk about that in a minute. Before we do, what's one message you want to give to the students who are scared of coming here, who are scared of taking that next step, who don't have that confidence? What one message you want to give?
Never be afraid of challenges. Always accept the way you are and be positive. You will get whatever you want at the right time. Life is not ending. Everything is possible and nothing is impossible. If you put a bit of effort, you will reach where you want to be.
Obviously, you work for Intuit now, and Intuit is a very big company. For people who don't know, they have a lot of apps, and one of them is TurboTax, where people pay taxes through that. So I'm gonna get discounts. She told me that. But anyway, how was that interview process? How did you get that?
Okay, so we had 5 rounds total.
5 rounds?
Yeah,
okay, wow.
in English. I applied online and also, I didn't do it first, but I applied online and I also asked one of my friends who works at Intuit to refer me. He found that his team was hiring, so he forwarded my resume to his manager. This is how I got an interview at Intuit.
Okay. And then obviously you were saying 5 rounds, or what are those 5 rounds?
The first round was a telephonic interview with a manager who was hiring, where they asked technical coding questions. Then they see if it is good. Then we go on site where we have 4 rounds of interview. First round was like 1.5 hour coding challenge, where we had to come up with a small mini project based on the problem statement. So it was basically to come up with some develop the front end code. After 1.5 hours, we had a panel interview where there were like 4 to 5 different engineers as well as managers who would interview and see what is my thought process on the problem statement that I solved. Once that is done, we have a 15-20 minute break. After that, we have one technical coding interview where I was asked to code and write the logic on right code. And the last round was a manager round where she asked me lot of behavioral questions based on your resume.
Was it everything in, like, obviously it was all in one day, so back to back interviews, how, like, and then obviously how quickly they made the decision? Was it just that same day, or?
So Intuit generally makes decision within a day. So I got an email from my recruiter the next day that I'm hired. So that's how I got an offer.
How long have you been working now for Intuit?
So I've been working for almost 2.5 years.
2.5 years now. Do you like it there?
Yes, it's very cool.
Cool.
And my manager is really cool.
Awesome. If your manager is watching, hello. Thank you so much for doing this. Really means a lot, and I'm just excited, and I'm hoping that people watch this entire interview and feel inspired and encouraged, and not give up on their life, irrespective of what struggle or problem they have or they are going through. They just need to work hard, because I mean, you set us such a great example for so many of us. Anything before we end the video? Do you have any last words of wisdom?
Except the way you are.
Accept the way you are. That's awesome. Thank you again, and until our next one.
Keep smiling, keep happy.